Hey everyone, I'm Cole. I'm the station manager here at KVRX 91.7, and today we are joined by the lovely Black Country New Road, who are on tour right now. Kind of not for their most recent album, but we'll get into that.
I'm Darren.
I'm Lewis.
I'm Tyler.
I'm Luke.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here. We really appreciate you coming all the way down to the University of Texas.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah,
Thanks
of
for
course.
having us.
So, just out of the gate, how are you doing? How's everything?
You know what? Pretty good. It's been a lot to adjust to this crazy country.
Yeah, it is a crazy country.
It feels good to be in Austin. We've been so excited to come here because we're here for 3 nights because we're playing 2 shows at the
Mohawk.
Mohawk. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
don't worry.
So that's awesome to feel settled in a place, and of all the places for it to be Austin, that's kind of sick.
Yeah, Austin's a great city, so we're glad to have y'all here. So we'll just jump into it. So I've been listening to a lot of y'all's new songs. They've been playing on the road so far, and so one that definitely stood out to me from the very first time I heard it earlier this summer was Upsong. And so when I think anyone hears Upsong, it's easy to feel that it's kind of like a capstone to the previous incarnation of the band and everything. And so I was wondering where that fell timing-wise in the process of developing all of your new songs, and was it particularly cathartic to write and to perform for y'all?
Honestly, that song existed before any of this happened.
Really?
It was a song that I wrote before this, and I was just doing solo stuff, and it was just a sad song that I played on piano. And then we changed some lyrics to make it more appropriate to Black Country. And, the Friends Forever BCNR lyric is something that we just threw in a practice, and we thought, this is sick, and we love each other, so let's do it.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad it worked out that way. To me, my ears at least, it sounds like such a happy, joyous song. And so I've been loving it. But with what happened, obviously, for anyone that doesn't know, Frontman Isaac had left earlier this year. It's crazy to think that was only like 6 months ago or so. But when you were writing these new songs, did you feel any pressure because you were kind of locked into a deadline almost with these festivals that you had lined up this summer, and you couldn't necessarily rely on songs like from Up There? You had Snow Globes and Basketball Shoes sitting around for years before putting out that record. And so did you feel like rushed in any sense to get these songs done before those dates?
Yeah, it was really stressful. We went through, I think we had like 3 months to get it all together. And when we started, we started with 4 of Tyler's songs that she'd written and had been performing by herself. And we developed them into the band. We started with them. And we had to fill another like half an hour. No, maybe another like 20 minutes of music. And we were like, oh shit, how do we do this? Like, we've got not much time to do a lot of music. And it was stressful, but we did get there in the end. We did like a little short mini UK tour of like really small venues, like 100 cap venues, just to test out the material and like give it a bit of like gig proofing, which really helps for us. And like a lot of the time we don't really get stuff sounding as good as it can be until we've played it at gigs a few times. So yeah, we got that sorted out in the end, but it was really stressful. It was hard, but
the other annoying thing was that we were trying to fill out the set, and every time we've tried to write songs or write albums, we've said, come on, let's make some like pop bangers, let's make some 3-minute songs. And we hadn't achieved that on the first record or the second record. By the time it came to making this set, we were just writing 2-minute bangers. It was so infuriating, and we were having to fill it out, but luckily scraped some good shit together, I think.
Well, I'd agree with that. Some good shit.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hello.
So, obviously now losing a front man, vocals are kind of a shared effort on a lot of songs. And I just wanted to know how the experience has been taking that center stage and really being up front. And if that's something that you kind of like the idea of returning to like a shared vocalist performance, or are you guys looking for more stability going forward?
I think we really like the shared vocal thing. Just takes a lot of pressure off. because it is such a weird thing to do anyway, like be in a band and play on tours and stuff like that. That, like, if you're having to do that every night and take on the emotional load that a lead singer has to take on every gig, like that's just too much, and that's too much for anyone to have to put themselves through. So the fact that we can share it out a little bit, ideally we'd like to get to the point where we've got enough songs, so if someone was like, "Do you know what, I don't want to sing tonight," we can do that. That'd be like ideal, and I think that's hopefully a position we'll be able to be in by the time we're writing more music, because yeah, it's also just quite fun as well. I think I quite like, obviously people are getting to know the set now, and it's people kind of know when it's whoever's turn to sing, but it's nice when it's like, oh, who's going to be singing next? It's a bit like a talent show kind of vibes, and it's fun to sing.
But it's not a competition.
No, it's not a competition, but it's like a
no. Sounds a bit like competition.
Yeah, no, I mean like it's like I don't know,
circus,
a circus,
yeah.
a variety act, yeah. But yeah, it's fun to sing. I was really nervous at the start, and found it really hard to sing well, and I'm getting there, getting used to it, and I'm getting better at it. But it's still like such a weird thing to do for me. Always been very used to being behind a saxophone or a flute, so it's really really weird. But I'm getting used to it a bit.
Yeah, that's great. So obviously throughout the lifespan of these songs, you've been playing them in the same order, kind of they exist as like a broader suite, and rather than just like individual units. I was wondering, especially given like motifs that repeat, like trousers and turbines throughout them, like how does that all fit in?
I think most of the repeating motifs that are already there are fairly coincidental. I think we haven't like workshopped it as like a really, thoroughly thought out suite of music yet. But I mean that wasn't really the intention. We were just trying to put together a show that was like fun for people who were already fans of the band. We weren't really expecting anyone new to start listening to this music. So we'll see what happens with that going forward. But I think it is pretty much just coincidence. I mean, we're all like close friends, so that just happens anyway. And there are certain things that we've just like said in the room amongst ourselves that have ended up being in lyrics and stuff like that, like the BCNR Friends Forever thing or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't read too much into it, though. It's nice that people do,
Yeah, no, trust me. There's many people out there that love reading into that stuff. Potentially reading more into some of this stuff. Some of the things I've noticed with your recent live performances is that, Tyler, you've been bowing your bass, and Lewis, you've been playing flute as well, and May's been playing accordion as well as piano. And so is there a conscious kind of decision or effort to incorporate more broader sounds into your live show because you've been able to pile so much instrumentation on Ants from Up There in the studio?
I mean, I think we're probably we get bored really easily, and people are so multi-talented in this band. I like May, Lewis, and Nina, who's touring violinist now, and Georgia, who's the permanent violinist. They're all like amazing. They went to Guildhall School of Music, so there's just so much talent that what's the point in like just waiting and like sitting on one instrument? I'm not saying that I'm talented because all I do is I just whack a bow out and like do that on my bass.
You learn to do it in like one
She
day.
is very talented.
That's pretty cool. Also like we are definitely trying to get as many instruments in as possible. I just think it would be like it's visually interesting if nothing else at a live show if people are like switching partway through a song.
It's more like a circus, like adding to the same thing with like mixing up the vocals.
Yeah, totally. So we're all gonna have to learn a few more. I think if we could all have 3, that would be like a really good band.
3 is a good number. Yeah,
I think with a lot of these things though, we don't really make conscious decisions to do that. We don't ever really talk about it so much.
We just think, flute would sound good on this. Lewis plays flute.
I think everyone, it's quite nice. I think everyone feels, I can't remember the word. I learned this word in business studies, where you feel a personal sense of responsibility, and you feel like you're being respected to that point of responsibility by your co-workers. And I feel like everyone has that, whatever that word is, has that feeling. So therefore, we'll just do it if they decide to do it. So May was just like one day she was like, I think I'm going to start playing accordion. And we're like, yeah, cool. And then it's like a lot less of a let's have a meeting, see how we can adjust our sound, how we can make it richer. I think we just think it, do it kind of thing. But yeah, if anyone remembers that word, that would be great. My mum would not be proud of me.
I am a business major,
that's
but I
so
cannot
HR.
remember.
Your mum would be.
Very.
I think she
HR.
would be proud.
She'd be proud of me for
Generally.
what I've done musically. I don't think she'd be looking upon this interview and being like, I didn't help him out with that business studies A level for nothing.
You're just gonna leave a comment on the video below.
Let us know. Mum, like and subscribe,
please. But
also with the extra instrumentation thing, we actually didn't put that much on the last record. There's like a bit of cello on like maybe just one song. There's some extra keys like here and there, but almost all of it is just what we played in the room.
There's one moment where I'm
vocals on
playing the
top.
flute and the sax at the same time.
Yeah, there's a couple of flutes on there.
Using the power of double tracking.
But we've managed to avoid so far the thing of like how we've done like the album of the songs that we wrote for our whole lives. Next, let's just do some like slightly worse ones and put loads of strings on so it sounds really big. So we got that in the back pocket for later. But for now, we're going like banjos and accordions first. See if that works.
Well, speaking of the studio, with these new songs, given the certain circumstances under which you had to write them, are they more like? Do you think of them more as temporary, or do you think any of those can show up on future albums?
I think we're not really thinking about that too much at the moment. I think there's definitely scope for one of them or a few of them to show on future albums. So I've said that so wrong.
Words,
but you know, it's I think we're just not trying to put pressure on ourselves. Just wait till the end of this tour and then decide what we do. I think like
just
it
try
feels
and
just
enjoy what we've got at the moment.
Yeah.
Don't want to put pressure on them being anything or not being anything, or just have fun with performing.
Great. So with each album cycle, you had a very different visual aesthetic. You had the unsplashed images, childhood drawings, now the puzzle pieces. I was wondering, how do you come up with these visuals? And do they reflect anything about like the songs and especially these new songs and puzzle pieces?
The secret of the visuals is that we don't do them. The first album we worked with a artist called Bart Price, and it was his whole like brainchild. That word? Brainchild?
No,
It's a festival.
Yeah.
That's a music festival. Yeah, it's his like baby. So that was his idea. And then the second one, I think that actually might be my idea. The second one, do the kids' drawings.
That was your
Oh, the
brainchild?
kids' drawings.
The
Yeah,
kids'
I was going to
drawings
say
thing.
it was Simon Monk's idea for sure.
Oh yeah. That
Um,
painting, obviously, but then the kids' drawings, I guess, yeah. But that's kind of a different thing.
We were originally. Do you remember we found that archive online? Me, you, and Isaac found that archive of like an archive of kids' drawings that we were going to use by like random kids, and then we
But
told
then-
the label about it, and they were like, "That's really weird. You can't do that." So we
But
had
then there
to
was
use our
the
own.
easy solution to just like go home to our parents' house. There's like just boxes of like crap that they've collected. Hopefully, actually went back home and found very little, but that's another story. But we just started using that. I mean, I think our music is pretty nostalgic, and there's like a naivety to a lot of it, and that somehow connects to the idea of like childhood drawings, and therefore later went on to connect to the artist Ros Murphy, who was a friend of ours. Ros Murray. God, I'm terribly sorry, Ros. Terribly sorry. Who like used similar imagery, but we let her have free reign over it.
Awesome. Well, so we were talking a little bit earlier about this crazy country you guys are currently in. It's your first U.S. tour after the last planned one. And so I'm just curious, is it anyone in the band's first time in the U.S.? Really? How's it been so far?
It's very strange. Everything's very far away from everything else.
Yes.
Is the main thing. I tried to walk and buy guitar strings one day, and everyone laughed at me when I got back because I told them the store had been shut down. But yeah, I don't know. It's very bizarre. We've been doing a lot of like roadside motels like straight from the venue. So we've done like mostly driving and sitting around. The couple of places we've been where we've actually been like in the city, New York, New Orleans, and then kind of here, I guess, that we just got here, have been amazing. Like, it's great, but so strange.
Yeah, I find the whole like having to drive everywhere really weird.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were playing Houston last, and driving from there to here is probably almost all the way across England.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, that's like going from London
It's
to
like
Leeds.
London to Wales or something.
Yeah.
I also like, this is the annoying thing about it, and this isn't just US specific. This is like basically our first proper tour really that we've done. We've done some like 2-week ones in the UK, and then we like
Did a bit of the Europe one last year, but like this is
really annoying.
and because I now understand why those like people that go on stage and be like, where even am I? Like,
Well, I don't even know what day it is, and you're like, I would always think like, you're such a knob.
but you do kind of understand it because it's just really weird. Like you don't, there's no like normal day structure. Doesn't matter what day it is. Very weird. But yeah, annoying that I empathize with those kind of guys now.
Mhm. And so, what have y'all thought of the South so far specifically?
So far, so good.
Mhm.
But kind of, like, as the boys have said, like, we haven't really experienced it. You spend most of your time sat in a car
Mhm.
and you get out. But it's hot. I like the heat. These guys don't like the heat. What more have we learned about the South?
There's some of the people are very, very nice,
Some of the people are very nice.
but it might be because we're English. You never know.
You never know.
Yeah, we've seen
Yeah.
a couple guns, which is pretty
There's quite a
crazy.
few
Yeah.
in Texas.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to see.
There's
that.
a lot of flags as well. There's
A lot
fucking
of
flags.
flags.
Sorry.
Loads of US flags. It's so funny.
At half mast.
Is it-
Why is that? Is it
So
because of Queen Elizabeth or 9/11 or something else?
Some more
There's-
local tragedy.
I don't think it's Queen Elizabeth, but there's always something. Sorry, Teal.
Yeah.
Madge.
Madge.
R.I.P. Madge.
R.I.P. I didn't get to say it. So with Isaac gone, and now Georgia sitting out due to the release of Jockstrap's newest album. Great album. Has the touring dynamic changed at all? Does it feel different? You know, like being in the van in the green room now.
No.
No.
Like, I mean, we're all just friends, part of the same friendship group anyway. So,
Going back to your shows though, this that you've been here in America so far. So at your first show in New York, you had Horse Girl open for y'all, and that's been your only headlining tour so far since you've been opening for Black Midi. But Horse Girl, of course, also released like one of the most anticipated albums of the year, similar to y'all. And so I've heard the story from their side before, but I was wondering how y'all became friends or how you met, across the Atlantic.
I taught Gigi saxophone,
Mm-hmm.
and
What kind of student were they?
great actually. Gigi was great. Yeah, they were like they practiced, I think, and yeah, it was good, easy vibes. Mainly just like chatted for most of it. To be honest, it was like my most chill lessons that I was teaching. But yeah, it was great. And then yeah, they were just saying about like the band and like talking about. I remember one week Gigi was like, "Oh yeah, we might be getting signed. We're chatting to all these labels." I was like, "Cool. But be careful." And then yeah, no, it's
It's great. It's awesome to see.
Horse Girl come up like at the same time as us. It's great. They're a sick band as well.
They
They're
are
so good.
amazing.
And I've seen them twice now. The once in London when they came and did their UK tour,
UK and Europe tour, and then also
obviously before us at the Bowery.
in New York. They're sick live.
Really nice guys as well. Really funny, really fun. But yeah, they're awesome.
And with Horse Girl, or at least when they came on stage when y'all were covering Billie Eilish at that New York show. And so BCNR has always been well known as a band that really likes pop music. And so I was wondering how you see BCNR's place in pop music and how you see pop music's place in BCNR. if that's a big question.
Big. I don't know. I don't think we're really in the business of pop music exactly, as much as we would maybe have said that we are kind of like semi-facetiously, maybe. But I mean, we all like pop music to some extent or another. I mean, I guess it's not really for us to place ourselves in it. I think we're seen more in like an indie circle by everyone else. But yeah, and pop's place in BCNR, shit. I mean, we think about structuring songs in like to make them as good as possible, which I guess is like a pop music thing, you know. If it was a more of a folk song, like there's no problem with making it 10 minutes long with like 10 verses and nothing else, like a, you know, which we probably wouldn't do. I mean, not yet, you know, but like usually we'd be like, oh, we need to do something different here, you know, with the instrumentation or something like that, because this much time has elapsed, and we don't really think of it as like to make it a pop song. But I think that's like a slight pop sensibility, maybe. But maybe it's just because some people went to music school, so they just always have too many ideas.
Well, maybe we'll see after you crank out more 2-minute pop bangers. But on the flip side of pop music is, you know, DIY culture. And Tyler, I know you used to run Ladies' Night in London, kind of as, you know, a figure of that. And so I was wondering, kind of if you could explain like how Ladies' Night came to be and why you ultimately had to step away from it.
It came to be because, honestly, it started because I had this solo project, and then I wanted to do my first gig at the Windmill because it was a familiar place, and Tim, who runs it, is lovely, and he said I could play. And then he said I could put on 2 other people to play as well. And subconsciously, I just booked 2 other girls. And then I realised, oh shit, I did that because it felt more comfortable. Not that I don't love my boys, but and then the night happened, and then everyone after that was like, wow, this felt so different. And it was kind of annoying that it felt so different. It shouldn't be a deal, but it is. So after that, Tim said, do you want to make this a monthly thing? So we did. And I've stepped away just because we're here now, and for a few of the ladies' nights I couldn't be there, and it didn't feel like I was doing it justice, and I wanted to be more present for it. So maybe next year I'll start again, but don't have the time, unfortunately.
Yeah, how it goes. Hopefully I'll be able to catch one of them.
Well, we actually started talking about whether maybe should do one in America.
That would be amazing if you do it in Austin the next year. We can help set something up.
That would be cool.
But I remember the first time I ever saw y'all visually was the Black Midi New Road live stream back in December 2020, where you played a joint set together. And I have to ask the question, of course, now that you're opening for them, is there any possibility we might get an encore set with all of y'all together?
When does this come out?
Soonest?
If it's after the gig.
Soonest in a week. But we can push it back as long as you want.
No, you don't have to push it back.
Maybe.
I'm going to say, yeah, probably.
Okay.
I just didn't want it to come out like tomorrow and then every gig everyone's like, they didn't do it tonight, you know. We'll probably do it, yeah.
Yeah. We'll do it when we feel like doing it. And that is the most important
We'll do it when
thing.
we're drunk.
Yeah, basically.
That's the most
I
important
haven't really
part.
done any drunk shows yet, so I think maybe we're going to have to save it for then.
It'd probably be weird if we didn't do something.
Yeah.
Wasted opportunity.
Oh, yeah. And I remember, like, at that, in that same live stream, y'all played Just Like Christmas by Low, which is how I found that song. And I now love that song. And then Low opened for y'all in Primavera.
That was
how was
messed
that?
up.
Open for us.
Whoa, how was that for
That
y'all?
was messed
It was fucked up.
One of my favourite bands.
Yeah, they're amazing. We were just at the side of the stage like, how do they sound so good?
From behind
the amps, like, you know, no mixing, just like they sounded like perfect.
Yeah, they're
It's
wicked.
insane.
They were not supporting us.
They were just on a probably
Less clashy time with other. They probably had a slightly better slot than us. Maybe
I hope so.
Maybe we clashed with like Dua Lipa or something.
We did clash with Nick Cave a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I did
probably why.
skip him.
They probably had our set and then
Didn't want to have that one because it clashed with Nick Cave or something like that.
fair play. They did not support us. Let's clear that up. They are awesome.
Yeah.
back to Black Midi. You guys are very connected, obviously. Tour, same circle, same sphere. I was kind of wondering if you guys have any like fun competitive spirit between you two. You know, like you guys check album reviews, see a reception. I mean,
Oh no.
no?
Yeah.
You guys think about starting? You know,
No, I wouldn't want to get into that. We would lose probably.
Good
Should-
point.
No, we don't really.
I don't know. Just doesn't really feel like that kind of vibe.
It also feels like we're really good friends with all of them, but like it feels from within like we're really different bands who just are friends. But from the outside, it probably doesn't seem as different as it does to us. So that, I mean, maybe we're more similar at the start and then changed, and maybe we're getting closer again. I don't know, but yeah, not really competitive. Maybe in like, you know, Cam was beefing us on Twitter the other day for stealing his walk-on songs, so stuff like that maybe.
Maybe we'll call our third album Heaven Water.
That's good.
is that a KVRX exclusive?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Breaking news over here. Well, so for my last question, I'm stealing this from my friend Kai. But I was just curious, what have y'all been consuming lately in terms of books, TV, movies, music, anything that you've been enjoying?
I just finished The Picture of Dorian Gray, and it was sick. It was so beautiful.
I'm like 10 pages away from the end of 100 Years of Solitude, which is really good, if a little. Few too many characters called Aureliano, maybe. There's like 30 guys. It's a bit confusing. But yeah, that's great. Music, our driver on this tour called Zach has showed us this guy called Little Wings,
Little Wings, yeah.
who is great. He's like kind of folksy country.
His voice sounds like Lamb Chop.
Yeah, he sounds like Kurt Wagner from Lamb Chop a little bit. Writes great songs. Just found that out like 2 days ago. That's cool.
I don't really read books, but I've been watching all of those the documentaries that Netflix make, and they're quite good. They're kind of made to be good, aren't they?
Not really a hot take. I've been catching up on the Guardian Football Weekly, basically on that podcast in the van. Just it's quite hard to stay in contact with football when you're over here, with soccer over here, because the time zone doesn't really work out too well. But yeah, Guardian Football Weekly, the Athletic Football Cliches podcast. Yeah, it's a bit of that really. Just trying to stay in contact with Blighty.
Have we got any movies?
Well, we haven't watched any movies.
Or films?
We need to.
So,
Any pictures?
Pictures.
No, we
We
haven't.
haven't had any in the
Nothing.
van.
Oh, we all watched the rehearsal together recently.
Oh, yeah,
We're
that
like
was
But
we haven't seen the
watched
last
final
episode yet.
episode.
Yeah.
We've been
But
waiting
that's
for a
like
time.
the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's the best bit of TV I've ever seen. Can't
Oh
wait
yeah,
for season 2.
we've been watching Atlanta. Me and Luke been watching Atlanta a lot. So
Oh, yeah.
we've been
Yeah.
catching up on Atlanta until
yeah.
the
There's
last
like a
season.
new season like this week, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can't wait. That's
gonna
maybe
be
the
great.
best thing I've
How'd the
seen.
show compare to the city itself, if you all played there?
We didn't
we
go.
drove
No.
through it.
We went to
Not
Athens.
like around it.
Mhm.
Wait, that's Atlanta, Athens.
Yeah, I enjoyed
that's
it.
same state.
Yeah. Athens seems very different to what Atlanta looks like in Atlanta.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, that show was so good. So one of the best things. I see why he did that tweet about it being the best thing since The Sopranos.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's on that level. It's awesome.
Fair
But yeah.
enough. Well, maybe you'll be able to catch an Austin FC game too while you're here.
That would be
I don't
cool. Are they
That would
playing?
be great.
I have no idea. I've never seen them.
It is.
To be honest, not a soccer football
The
fan.
season started, so
Yeah, that'd be
Hey,
kind of
it'd be
cool.
cool. I don't know who plays for them.
Probably some aging old legends.
Probably.
And some young preppy Americans. That'd be nice.
Well, anyways, thank you all so much for joining us today and sitting in our library and talking with us. Again, this is Black Country New Road. Their newest album, Ants From Up There, was released earlier this year. You can catch them on tour, depending on when this video comes out. They're playing in Austin tonight, and I'm so glad, or tomorrow, and Saturday. I'm excited to see y'all. So thank you again.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
Thanks
so
a lot.
much.
Thanks for having us.